7 easily avoidable mistakes when breeding budgies. We have talked about some horrifying things that can happen when breeding in the video about what could happen when breeding budgies. I'll keep a link in the description in case you missed it. In this video, we will talk about how to avoid 7 mistakes you do when breeding budgies. You see, we can try to eliminate the mistake before it even happens and become a problem. Let's start with separating your breeding budgie pair. When you have more than 2 budgies, it's best to separate the breeding pair. The female budgie that is laying eggs and in breeding condition could become very aggressive and protective of her nesting box. If you have more than one female, they can actually fight over the nest box and get ugly really fast. In the video where I built my beautiful aviary, I got a lot of comments saying, "You forgot to put breeding boxes in the aviary." I'll keep a link in the description for the video where I built my aviary if you are interested. But the truth is, I didn't forget. I'm just against colony breeding, which it is what it's called when you put a lot of budgies with a lot of nesting boxes. And the danger is not only on the breeding pair, it could actually get worse and find broken eggs. Or even worse, dead chicks. When 2 females are interested in the same breeding box, the other female could wait for the mother to go out of the nest to eat or drink and then attack her eggs, or chicks if any are found. The second mistake is not taking your budgie's age into consideration. I have said it before and I will say it again. The appropriate age for breeding budgies is between 1 to 3 years. While males could go up to 6 years old of age for breeding, but females aren't supposed to be more than 3 years old. And of course, there is a reason for that. Not only during this period is when your budgies are most fertile. Budgies actually mature at about 6 months. But if you go younger than 1 year old, it could result in a lot of unnecessary problems. From the parents not able to take care of the babies, to other health complications with the mother. And if you are breeding budgies that are older than 3 years, you will run the risk of not having a healthy offspring. Or for the female to get egg-bound as well, which is a very serious condition that needs immediate avian vet intervention. If you don't know what is the age of your budgie, I do have a video explaining that. I'll keep a link in the description. The third mistake is not giving the breeding pair a break. Breeding, laying eggs and raising chicks takes a lot, and I mean a lot, of energy from your budgies. And you will notice, while there are still chicks in the breeding box, when they get old enough, the mother will start laying eggs again. However, you should prevent that from happening over and over again, or you will run to serious health problems. For example, when your budgies are molting, that too takes a lot of energy. Imagine on top of that letting them uncontrollably breed. If you don't know how to stop your budgie from laying eggs, I do have a video on that too. I'll keep a link in the description for that video. The fourth mistake is not adapting the nutrition to your breeding pair. While budgies always need a good, healthy and varied diet, but with breeding pair you need to be extra careful. A good seed mix and fresh veggies are awesome, but you need to provide your breeding pair with boiled eggs and extra calcium or mineral block. These are important for a lot of reasons, some of which we already discussed, like preventing egg bind and abandoning the chicks, but it could also prevent infertile eggs and weak chicks. Eggs have protein in them, and of course in the eggshell there is calcium. And also, the mineral block will keep calcium supply all the time for your budgies. I do have a video about kettle bone and mineral block, which I will leave a link in the description for you if you want to learn more about that. Now that we have covered 4 mistakes people do before having chicks, let's look at 3 mistakes that people do after the chicks are born. Which brings us to the 5th mistake. What breeding box are you using? You need to be careful with what nesting material are you using. Budgies can lay eggs in any shape or material. However, some of these materials are not recommended. If it's too slippery, it could cause splayed feet for the newborn chicks. This condition happens when the chicks are too heavy to stand on their feet, and it results with the legs splayed away from their body. That's why you see a lot of people add beddings into their nest box, so chicks can grow healthy and prevent the splayed feet problem all at once. So imagine having a slippery material that even older budgies can barely stand on. However, if you do have proper nesting box, then this problem can easily be avoided. And if you keep watching the chicks, you can actually catch the problem when it first starts. I use wooden box, as it is the closest to their natural breeding behavior, since wild budgies lay eggs inside tree holes. The sooner you find out they might have splayed feet, the easier the problem could be solved. However, if you wait too much, it might be irreversible, so keep close attention. Mistake number 6. Red mites. Red mites can easily infest breeding pairs, where there are eggs and chicks. These mites bite and feed on your budgie's blood. If you are too late to see you have been infested with red mites, they could render your eggs infertile and kill the already born chicks. So let's talk about how to prevent red mites from invading your breeding budgies. First off, they come by sticking on your dog or cat pet if you have any. If your pet goes in and out your home, it could easily bring mites with it. And even you, when you come say from your garden, you might have picked a couple of mites without even knowing. And when you go inside, they just go straight to your budgies. And they really do reproduce quickly. And using the wood in the cage, they can lay their eggs in there. So to prevent red mites infestation, you need to make sure to switch clothes before interacting with your budgies, so you don't transfer the mites. And also, clean your nesting box on a weekly basis, to not let the mites silently reproduce. And if you do find mites, just throw the nest box away and get a new one. If there are already mites, it's just not worth it to try and clean it. And the 7th and final avoidable mistake is when the chicks are about 5 weeks. And I mean when they just learned how to fly. While it is amazing to start playing, training and bonding with your budgie chicks, however, don't forget how fragile they still are. They can easily get hurt when you let them fly across your house. While I do have a video about how to budgie proof your house, and I will leave a link in the description for you as well. But with chicks you need to be extra careful. And what is enough for old budgies might not be enough for 5 or 6 weeks old chicks. If you want to play with them and let them fly, I suggest you to take them to a closed room where they can't hit any solid objects and get hurt. Young chicks still don't know how to control their flight and can head straight to a wall even when they see it. And you will end up with injured chicks that can barely, if at all, perch. And that's it for our 7 mistakes that we can easily avoid not to deal with them in the first place. But although we can avoid and lower the risk of these mistakes from happening, of course they still do happen. There is no such thing as zero possibility when it comes to our beloved problem makers budgies. So if you do want me to elaborate or explain any of these mistakes in more details, or maybe you want to know how to treat it in case it already happened, please comment below what do you want me to explain and take a deep dive about. For more about budgies, make sure to subscribe to the channel if you are watching this video from YouTube and hit the bell icon to get notified when the next video is up. Or like the Facebook page if you are watching this video from Facebook.